Hello and welcome to WWE Let's just get straight to it. March the 10th, 2014. Let's get to Raw. Anywho, basically, Hogan talks about some of his WrestleMania matches against Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, and especially Andre the Giant. And his announcement basically is that when he watched the match with Andre the Giant this past weekend on the WWE network, he gets crazier and the goosebumps go up and down the pythons. He also says that he has a historic idea, an idea that was so intense that he couldn't even wait to come to Raw and tell the universe, all the Hulkamaniacs. So he basically Hogan announces an over-the-top 30-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match at WrestleMania, and the winner will receive an Andre the Giant Memorial trophy. And Hogan shows us a video of the big screen of the trophy. So the winner will have that match. And Hogan has one question: what you gonna do at WrestleMania 30 when Hulkamania and the memory of Andre the Giant runs wild on you? John Cena's music hits and out comes to a very mixed kind of reaction, and Cena says, "Damn, it's damn good to have Hulk Hogan back in the WWE," and he talks about WrestleMania 30, and he talks about WrestleMania 3 and how he knew Hulkamania would live forever. And Cena does a "what you gonna do," and then the fans start booing him. And you believe it, the fans were booing John Cena when he tried to not really mock, but he tried to say and he tried to look good because of Hulk Hogan, tried to act like Hulk Hogan, but then the fans were just like, no, just, sit down and keep your mouth shut. And pretty much the fans were booing, and then Cena says he's going to be the first one to enter his name in the Battle Royal. So pretty much John Cena will be in the Battle Royal match, and then the lights go out. Here comes the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt basically takes a seat in his rocking chair ringside, and it's basically John Cena face to face with Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt mocks Cena in Hogan's catchphrases, and then Bray Wyatt says that they're both liars, and the foolish pride allows them to prey upon the weak and fill them with hope. And Bray Wyatt says that hope is dead, and as will Cena's legacy be. And then Cena says he has two other I can't even say that. But basically, Cena challenges Bray Wyatt for WrestleMania 30, and he says he will get the beating of a lifetime. And then Bray says it's all fun and games with Cena until it's Cena caught in the spider web. Bray Wyatt drops the mic, and the Wyatt family approaches the ring. Cena and Hogan were ready to fight Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, but then it's Eric Rowan versus John Cena. This match wasn't very interesting at all because it was kind of a squash match. Basically, Cena, fighting back and leaping out, Rowan catching him in mid-air and all that stuff, and then Cena again ragdolls him in the big bear hug, and then Cena fights out, but then Rowan clubs him to the mat, and then Rowan with a big slam, Cena counters a move and rolls up Rowan up for the quick win out of nowhere. Cena won the match after the bell. Bray Wyatt accepted the challenge, and then basically accepted it. He accepted the WrestleMania challenge by walking away and saying, "You're on." So it's official. Cena will be in the Battle Royal, and he will also face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30. Back from the break, Triple H and Stephanie come to the stage, and then Stephanie says that Daniel Bryan attacked Triple H last week, but then he suffered the consequences of pedigree. She says his actions were for immediate termination, but they've decided to lead by example, that they shouldn't do that because they know that there is value in Daniel Bryan's brand and his. So firing him would be too easy. So they've asked him tonight to apologize to the authority so that they can move on forward, and if not, then there will be a lot of consequences, and she hopes that we enjoy the rest of the show. And yeah, trying to be a bit of a face, but not really a face, is she? The Usos versus Ryback and Curtis Axel. This was an okay match because there's a tag team, and I like the Usos as well. But the biggest ending was basically Jay with a super kick to Axel, and Jay runs to the ropes and then leaps out onto Ryback and tagging in Jimmy at the same time. Jimmy nails a super fly splash on Axel for the win. The Usos won the match. Next, Jack Swagger versus Biggie Langston. Biggie Langston squashed him into a match. Basically, Zeb wants Cesaro to hit a cheap shot on Biggie, but then Cesaro won't. Swagger is distracted, allowing Biggie to roll him up for the win. Cesaro trying to act, like a face, kind of he is, but Zeb and Swagger are kind of the heels. So this match was a pretty interesting match. I would probably predict a WrestleMania triple threat match. But anyway, The Undertaker comes out, but then as soon as he can even say anything, Paul Heyman comes out and says that there's no one ever that has won 5 WrestleMania matches in a row. Talks guys like Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, and John Cena. John Cena has won 4 matches at WrestleMania in a row, but never 5. But Undertaker has won 21 matches in a row and never lost. So he says that Paul Heyman says that he admires and respects the hell out of Undertaker, but he respects him so much that he demands Undertaker to not face Brock Lesnar, because then Lesnar will end the streak, even though he's stepping into the unknown at WrestleMania. Heyman says it's an unknown that Taker needs to fear, not Lesnar. Heyman says if Taker steps into the ring, the streak will be conquered. So then Taker tells Heyman to take a message to Lesnar about the fear of the unknown being the greatest fear of them all. And then he tells Heyman to tell Lesnar that if he shows up at WrestleMania, he will rest in peace. I thought this was a brilliant confrontation between two. It was a really good segment. I loved the mic skills from the Taker. I've seen some from him. I feel probably back when the match before WrestleMania 28 with Triple H. His mic skills were pretty good back then. Bit of a dump at last year. It was a great match last year, but the build-up wasn't very good. But this, I can tell, this build-up's going to be pretty good. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a great match. And then Goldust and Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Well, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns won the match, but then Rollins blocks the crossroads and then blocks a disaster kick, and then Rollins power bombs Cody back into the corner, stomps on the back of his head for the win. Ambrose comes in after the match and then celebrates, and then the Shield stands united as we go to the replays. This was a pretty good match, I would say. But yeah, I would say it was fine. This was something huge. I think this was a huge segment. It wasn't very interesting. Oh, actually, it was interesting, to be honest. Daniel Bryan says that he is not going to apologize to Triple H, as he would always say no, no, no. And he says that he is going to occupy WWE Raw tonight. And as he wants all the Yes Movement members to come down right now. And then a bunch of fans wearing Bryan t-shirts start coming over the barrier and into the ring, and then we go to commercial. Triple H comes out. Sorry about that. Excuse me. And then Daniel Bryan just demands the match at WrestleMania with Triple H, and out comes Triple H and saying that Triple H congratulates Bryan on having his own Occupy Raw movement, and then insults him, and then Triple H says that this is the part where reality comes crashing down. He sends security before they're arrested, but there's too many of them, and Daniel Bryan starts laughing at him, and then the security turns their back on Triple H. Triple H had no choice but to say that this ends now. He's going to face Daniel Bryan and he will be finished. But then pretty much it got even more ridiculous when Daniel Bryan says, wait, that is not all I want. He wants a match for the WWE World Heavyweight title, and this was just getting even ridiculous. I thought this was just awful. I do not like the Yes Movement at all. If some of you guys may criticize me, some of you guys may not like this at all, but I do not. It's my opinion. I'll probably get to that later in some other video. But the Yes Movement is just ridiculous, I would say. So then Triple H had no choice but to say the stipulation between Triple H and Daniel Bryan's match at WrestleMania. If Bryan wins the match, he will enter the title match. The WWE Heavyweight title match will turn into a triple threat match with Daniel Bryan in it. And it was pretty obvious that if Daniel Bryan is obviously gonna win the match, but what and how will he win the WWE World Heavyweight Title match? We don't really know about that, but he agrees to Bryan's demands and tries to beat up Daniel Bryan, but then he just charges the ring and then security holds him back. He agrees to Bryan's demands, so pretty much this was an okay segment between them two. I didn't really like the challenging matches I would say, but anyway, Sheamus versus Christian in a street fight match. This was a pretty good extreme match, I would say. Right at the end, Christian stacks a few chairs on Sheamus and it hits a frog splash. Christian with a 2 count. Christian grabs the bass drum, but then Sheamus nails a bro kick through it for the win. Sheamus wins the match. This wasn't a very good match at all. This was actually a good match, I would say. I'll take that back. Daniel Bryan and Big Show versus Batista and Randy Orton. Well, we pretty much right at the end we basically say Orton with a draping DDT on Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan blocks the RKO and then rolls up Orton for 2. And then Bryan nails the flying knee for the win and then wins the match. Winners Daniel Bryan and the Big Show. This Raw just sucked. This Raw I didn't like at all. I mean, the matches, I would say the Hulk Hogan and John Cena were pretty good. I would say that was pretty damn good. And also with The Undertaker, if Brock Lesnar would have came out, it would have been more interesting. But Daniel Bryan made it kind of worse. He made it worse, I would say. It wasn't a very good segment at all. But let's just get straight to SmackDown, the 14th of March 2014. Sheamus versus Heath Slater with Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal at ringside. Sheamus gets the win with a bro kick in just over 5 minutes. 3MB tried to get involved but then had no luck. Triple H pretty much comes out and then to a big heel heat with no Stephanie McMahon, announces that Daniel Bryan is not here and then taunts the Bryan fans and tries to get more heel response, and then lots more boos is what he gets. And then when he says Bryan won't be here tonight, Triple H says he's not happy with the fans for what happened on Raw and says he is taking away their happiness starting now. Triple H vows to destroy the Yes Movement at WrestleMania 30 and he says that Bryan has no chance, just like the fans. Triple H says Bryan will not earn a spot in the World Heavyweight Title match at WrestleMania and there won't be a happy ending this year for Bryan's fans. So then he calls out Damien Sandow and isn't happy with him for not getting in the ring against Bryan and the fans on Raw. Sandow begs for forgiveness. So then he basically gets a match with Seth Rollins and then Rollins gets a quick win with his finisher. Sandow leaves the ring, but then Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns roll him back for a triple powerbomb. Big E up next. Big E squashed Fandango in under 2 minutes, so he pretty much won the match in under 2 minutes. And then we get a recap of Paul Heyman and The Undertaker leading. Pretty much, Bad News Barrett comes out and says that the streak will die at WrestleMania, leading to kids crying and keeping their parents up all night. This will lead parents losing their jobs. Cody Rhodes and Goldust defeat Jack Swagger and Cesaro. More tension between the Real Americans here. Get a little bit of a tease for what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Goldust gets taken out and then they double team Cody until the Usos make the save. Kofi Kingston versus Bray Wyatt, it was up next, and the Wyatt family came up to the pop of the night. They were really good with the crowd and the good back and forth match with near falls at the end. Bryan gets the win with an impressive Sister Abigail. And then, pretty much, Dolph Ziggler defeated Alberto Del Rio in a lengthy back and forth match. After the match, Renee Young interviews Ziggler, and in the middle of the ring, Ziggler brags about beating Del Rio twice in a row and then always stealing the show. Ziggler enters himself into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match at WrestleMania 30, and he says he's been waiting for his WrestleMania moment when he wins the Andre Trophy. Kane versus Big Show was the next main event, and then Shield are at ringside. Show gets the win with a huge choke slam, and then after the match, Kane yells at the Shield for watching him lose. Kane grabs Rollins, for a chokeslam, but then Reigns breaks up with a big spear. The Shield stand together over Kane as SmackDown ends. Your thoughts, your comments below, your feedback.